Jesus said he was like Jonah, but way better. Everywhere that Jonah failed, Jesus succeeded. The author and perfecter of our faith rewrote Jonah's story and made it perfect. Let's take a deep dive, pun intended, into how Jonah ended up in the belly of a huge fish. So God told Jonah to go to Nineveh. So he hopped on a boat with a bunch of Gentiles and headed for Tarshish, which of course is fun to say. Tarshish. Go ahead. All right, that's enough. God made it storm and everybody panicked while Jonah took a nap. They woke him up and asked him to pray, but that didn't work, so they played lots to find out which one of them had angered God. The lots fell to Jonah. So he admitted the whole thing and they threw him off the boat. Then God sent a gigantic fish to swallow Jonah. God did this to save Jonah's life, but it was also a punishment. God put Jonah on timeout to think about what he did. It took the guy 3 days to apologize and agree to go to Nineveh. So then God tells the fish, all right, spit him up. Jesus had a very similar yet very different experience with his disciples. They were in a boat, on the water, in a storm. And what were the disciples doing? Freaking out. And what was Jesus doing? Taking a nap. So they woke him up and asked him to do something about it. Later, Jesus was led to the cross by Gentiles who played lots to see who would get his things. And after he died, Jesus spent 3 days in a tomb. Lots of similarities. But check out the differences. From the get-go, Jesus was totally on board, pun intended, with God's plan. He never ran away, no matter how hard things got. When they woke him up on the boat, Jonah didn't have the power to help, but Jesus told the wind to pipe down and the storm to get lost. And it did, because Jesus has authority over everything. Jonah's storm was the result of his own disobedience. He was a storm starter, but Jesus is the storm stopper. Gentiles playing lots controlled Jonah's entire situation. But the Gentiles with Jesus only thought they were in control. They only did what they did to Jesus because he allowed them to do it. Jonah ended up in that fish because of his sins. But Jesus ended up in the tomb because of our sins. And finally, Jonah ended up on the beach because the big fish spit him out. But Jesus overcame death and busted out of the grave on his own. How awesome is that? Hebrews shows us how Jesus rewrote Jonah's story and perfected Jonah's faith, along with all of the great and not so great heroes of the Old Testament. And when we follow Jesus, he does the same thing for us. He is the author and perfecter of our faith.